Hi everybody, it's Christina. Welcome back to Adventures in Published Land. Today I have a book haul to share with you. I recently went to Maine for a few days with my family, primarily to celebrate my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. So I did some book shopping while I was there. We were in the Ogunquit area, hence the Ogunquit Playhouse t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. But I did pick up a small stack of books while we were away, and I thought I would share them with you. I will note that I really don't know much about these books at all, so I'll share what I do know, and then if you're interested, you can subscribe and look forward to me reviewing them at some point in the near future. So let's jump right in. The first book that I got is the Summer Book by Tove Jansson with an introduction by Catherine Davis. I got this at an antique store called Bomar Hall, which is an amazing antique store. It's really big in there. They have a lot of booths, and it's on Route 1 in Maine. And it also came with a little bookmark. So this was a $3 book, and it was on sale, I believe, for cheaper. And then the books in this booth had little bookmarks that the seller, I assume, had made. So that was really sweet. I like that it's about summer, and I've heard really good things about this author from the Books Unbound podcast. So I figured this was the perfect book to buy on a summer vacation. Next up, I went to a bookstore called Douglas and Harding. I think it's used books or rare books. I have a reel up on my Instagram, and I also reposted it here to my shorts on YouTube if you're interested in learning more about this shop. From what I understand, it used to be down the street further up Route 1, and it used to be a really big used bookstore with several rooms, but now it looks like it's an older gentleman who runs this store, and it looks like he's condensed it to the first floor and second floor part of a house. I assume he lives there. So it's really hot in there. There doesn't seem to be much organization at all to the books. I did hear him tell another patron that upstairs was where the rare maps were and where the more expensive books were. But I found two books downstairs. The first one being All Adults Here by Emma Straub. I didn't know anything about this book, but the bright colors on the spine caught my attention, and I've heard great things about this author. This seems to be a coming-of-age novel about 3 adult children that a woman has, and that's about all I know, but it sounded exciting. This was $8. And then I also found Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson there for $8 as well. I know nothing about this book either, except that people really love it and they talk about it all the time. I know I must have heard a synopsis at some point and put it on my mental checklist of books to read, but I don't remember why, so we'll see in the coming weeks or months why I decided to pick that up. And then I went to Perkins Cove, which is a small shopping area in Ogunquit, Maine, and they have a bookstore there that I think is fairly new, the Perkins Cove Bookshop. It is a very small, newer bookstore. I also have a little tour of this up on my Instagram, and I don't think I've posted it to my YouTube shorts yet, but I will do so. I don't usually buy new books. I usually stick to used books, but I bought 2 while I was there because I do love supporting independent bookshops. And the first one I got is Natural Beauty by Ling Huang. This one stood out to me because of the cover and also because it's about a famous pianist who has to leave her career behind to help her parents, and she gets a job at a high-end beauty and wellness shop in New York City. And this line on the back really captured my attention. It says, "It explores the questions of consumerism, self-worth, race and identity, and leaves readers with a shocking and unsettling truth." And I also saw that the author is herself a violinist, so I really liked that concept, and I think I will enjoy this book. And then finally, I picked up The Chrysalids by John Wyndham, introduction by Christopher Priest. I know I've heard about this book. It's an older dystopian novel, and it sounds right up my alley. It talks about how it's set in the future after a devastating global nuclear war, and there's a tight-knit community of religious and genetic fundamentalists always on the alert for any deviation from the norm of God's creation. So that sounds just like my idea of a book. I'm probably going to read this next because I think I'm really going to enjoy it. So that's it for my book haul from our trip to Maine. I think I did pretty well. 3 used books, 2 new books to add to my TBR. I will say that this area of Maine has a ton of bookshops, but they have really weird hours. That's one thing I noticed while I was there. So for example, I went to another used bookstore, but it was only open between the hours of 10 to 2, and I was there at 3 p.m., so I couldn't go in. So I would definitely recommend driving up Route 1, seeing what antique stores and thrift stores you want to pop into. A lot of them will have books in the booths, and also research the used bookstores as much as you can in advance, but just be open to driving around that area because you never know what you're going to find and what stores will be open at that time. I hope you enjoyed this haul, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!